All right. Of course, your boy Shango got sick again after the draft show. That last video I sent up, man, I was in such pain, but I had to get that video out and talk to you about the picks. But if my attitude was way low, then it was because I was in intense pain, guys. I was in the hospital. I was crying. Man. And you don't want to know what was wrong with me, but I feel good now, and I'm happy. No, this is not my new hairstyle. I was just cutting my hair, and I stopped like there in the middle, say, hey, that's two roles I can do in Hollywood now. Ice Cube, of course, whenever they do the NWA movie, and when they do the remake of the 18, B.A. Baracus. I pity the fool. I pity the fool. That's me. All right, sad thing about Valley Ranch, though. I got up yesterday and just opened up the internet, and sure enough, I saw the whole thing just falling down. And I was reading while they said Todd Archer was screaming for help. I was like, dang, they shouldn't have wrote that about Archer when he was fine afterwards. If you write somebody screaming or whatever, they should be in the hospital or something. But I guess I bet you those boys are getting a kick out of that. But yeah, it was a scary thing. The only real bad injury is special teams coach D. Camillidis. He might have to have back surgery. They expecting 100% recovery. But the other thing that's lost is a day yesterday in practice and a whole another day today in practice. I don't know if we can get that back from the NFL. We should, so we can work with the rookies. But wow, that was random as it gets. But come on, man, that's Texas. Shouldn't they have some kind of a sturdier building? Like, I mean, 65. It was 65 to 70 mile per hour winds, and we get Santa Ana's out here that's like, woo. I mean, I built a canopy like thing in my backyard, put it all the way in the ground, and had it right. The Santa Ana's came, and next morning I looked over at my neighbor's pool, and my canopy was just swimming. So the winds are bad, and especially with the fire. With the fire that got up over 60 to 70 miles per hour, so trees were just laying down from the wind out here. So I guess you gotta build your structures to take that. You know what I'm saying? If it was a tornado, that would have been really ugly. Because basically, if it was a tornado, they would have been outside with particles just flying all over the place. And that ain't good. It was bad management to have people in there, during those extreme conditions, and I hope they never, ever do it again. Safety first. If you're in an unstable building and the winds are kicking up, get out of the building and get people who are working for you and out of the building. Simple as that. All right. As far as the players, the Stephen McGee, they said, looked really fast. He has a nice zip on the ball. Rudy Carpenter, who's the free agent draft pick, not free agent rookie. He wasn't a draft pick. Throws the ball and then flutters a little bit. So they said Stephen McGee has more oomph on the ball, more zip on the ball. However, he's having accuracy issues. He looks just like Tony Romo, because that's how Tony Romo came in. He came in with a gunslinger, with a powerful arm to make every pass, but working on that accuracy was what they were doing. Jason Williams, I've heard this and I've heard this, so I can't get excited about him yet, and it's going to be tough to get excited about him, guys, because he's supposed to take Burnett's position. And KB was a stud linebacker out of a top university in Tennessee. Jason Williams is a top linebacker from a small school in Illinois. They didn't have to go through the same competition they did at Tennessee. So KB came in much more versed on football than Jason Williams. And now Jason is going to have to learn, and they're not too sure about his learning ability as how fast he can take stuff in. Because if he takes stuff in pretty fast, he's all right. But if he doesn't absorb things quick, we're in trouble, because he's slotted to possibly be that nickel linebacker. So hopefully he can do that. And another thing that they've noticed is stiffness. He's really stiff. So that's going to be tough as a nickel linebacker, because if you're stiff, it's hard for you to make cuts with those tight ends when they're moving around. So there's a lot of worry about Jason Williams as far as how fast he'll pick up. As far as athletic ability, the dude's a straight phenom out there. I mean, he's got all the physical tools that you could even dream to have. So it's basically up to the coaches. If the coaches can coach this guy up and make this guy understand and learn what he could do during the season, then we can get something out of him during the season. Otherwise, don't know. Our backup plan there is Stephen Hodge, who got bad critique, I think, the first morning, but then after that, he's just been good. And if you, his interview is over at DallasCowboys.com, and his interview was really good. I mean, he gave it to you. He talked to positively. He talked good about himself and about the team. I mean, he really did represent himself well in that interview. So I like his head. He's a stocky dude. He looks like kind of like Dexter Coakley did. You know, he's kind of short, but Jason Williams is kind of short too. That's one thing, guys. When I went out here to training camp, Parcells' first year here, I was out there in training camp, and I was like, wow. You know, our defense is little. Before Parcells before Parcells, our defense was really little. With Dad and Dexter, and I mean, I think our tallest linebacker was 6 or 6'1". You know, it's a really small team, and you know, then you get power versus force there. You know, and sooner or later, if you're smaller as far as mass, you're going to get beat down. And that's what I'm worried about with us, because we are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Because we were huge. We were huge just a couple of years ago. So now, when it gets to those third and fourth quarters, the physical toll will be on our defense rather than their offense, because of the physical size there. And especially when we have little Jay Ratliff. And Jay Ratliff is not a big guy, y'all. We have little Jay Ratliff fighting his behind off at defensive tackle. You know, and sooner or later it just get beat. I mean, no. How else do you explain us doing a hell of a job? I mean, a hell of a job against the Baltimore Ravens and stopping that run the entire game. I watched the game again the other day. We were just sticking, and then toward the end of the game, boom! I mean, they hit us. They hit us hard. Then the same play again, back. Boom! Hit us again hard. And you got to be ready for that. And when you have size, when you have absolute mass, they can't do that. They'll run up against the wall. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. Go up against those Williams boys and see how far you go backwards. That's football. And we're weak right there in the middle in size. And that kind of bugs me. I like big guys. I like to... All right. What else? I said Stephen McGee. Who else they talked about? They said D'Angelo Smith was limping, so he still has an injury. Manuel Johnson, they said, was slow. They ripped Manuel Johnson, actually. Who else? That's pretty much it. I can't think of anybody else. The kicker can kick, but we'll talk about that in depth later, probably. But this is a 9-minute video, guys. But holla at you later. Peace.